Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. I'm Mike Catalana. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for being with us here on Buffalo Plus. We hope you're enjoying your holiday weekend, and I know your phones were buzzing. You're getting the news about DeAndre Hopkins being free. Well, free, at least in the sense of he's out there, and it's not going to be a trade to try to get him. So what I'm here to do is talk to you about, would it make sense for the Bills? Why would it be? What are the negatives? Who are the other teams that would be interested? And I want to know what you think. So when you leave comments, I want to know what you think about the possibility of Hopkins being a member of the Buffalo Bills. Let's start with this. I'm going to give you the negatives. You want the negatives? Fine. He's turning 31 this year. That's a little old for a wide receiver. Okay. He's had injuries the last couple of years. He had a hamstring, cost him 3 games. And then it was the knee in December of 2021. He didn't finish the year. And then last year they sat him out at the end. I think that's just because they did. They were a mess and they sat him out at the end of the year. I think he's fine. But he's had that. And he had a 6-game PED suspension. Serious thing, something teams are concerned about. And it would probably be written into his deal involving what would happen if it happened again. Okay, we're done with the negatives. Let's go to the positives. It's DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, Bills fans know him. You saw what he did in the playoff game in Houston, Josh's first playoff year. You saw what he did in the Hail Murray play. You've seen the numbers. The guy's stats through his career have been incredible. I mentioned him missing games. Up until then, he didn't miss games. The only one he missed up until the 2021 season was at the end of the year, week 17. They sat him out. Healthy as can be, played all the games, put up ungodly numbers. I had him for 400 catch seasons. He averaged about 1,300 yards a year. This is in that first stretch of games. Averaged about 96 catches a year. Basically an unstoppable force at wide receiver. That's what he's been. Is he that now? Well, we don't know. The last couple of years, between all the issues Kyler Murray's had, it hasn't been great. And so he's out of Arizona. But there aren't a lot of DeAndre Hopkins running around out there. So should the Bills be interested? Yeah. Now you're going to say to me, but Mike, what about the cap? And I have to quote Dan Fates. The salary cap's not real. It exists. So I guess that makes it real, but you can make the numbers work. Andrew Brandt, you guys probably know him, used to work with the Packers, does a lot of stuff around the league about the way front offices work. He always says, the cap is accounting. It's cash that teams worry about, right? And in the past, the Ralph Wilson years, the Bills weren't willing to spend. They weren't bringing in anywhere near the money they're bringing in now. They weren't willing to spend. Ralph hated paying anybody who wasn't on the field for him. I get it. Nobody likes to do that. I think Terry Pagula and Kim Pagula have shown that they will spend on guys. So the reason I say that is you can make it work. You can adapt what you need to within the cap. Sometimes that means kicking it down the road. Fine. You know what's down the road for NFL teams? More money. More money. The cap's going to keep going up. You got Josh Allen in his prime. You have Stephon Diggs. You need another weapon. They're hoping these other guys become weapons. They need another weapon. I look at the Bills. I look at that wide receiver position, and I say to myself, in the teens, the lower part of the teens around the league, I mean, be honest with yourself. How many groups of receivers would you trade straight up for what the Bills have? And that's with Diggs. This isn't like the old days where the Bills would have 2 or 3 nice players, good players, the Stevie Johnsons of the world. No, we're talking about you got a number 1 in Diggs. Okay. What do you got? Gabe Davis? The hope is that he bounces back after failing to move up to that number 2 guy. Now, maybe he's healthier this year. That would be awesome. He has shown flashes. We're not talking about flashes here, folks. We're talking about being that guy on the other side, a guy the other teams are afraid of. They should have been afraid of him in that Kansas City playoff game, but let's be honest, that's more the exception than the rule with Gabe. Now, if he's healthy and he's helping this team, fantastic. If you knew that was going to happen, you wouldn't even be in the market. I think they're in the market. Gabe as the 3rd option, pretty good. Gabe as the 2, hasn't been great. You got Khalil Shakir And then you got the rookies. You got DeAndre Hardy. They're hoping Dalton Kincaid becomes that guy. Trent Sherfield, maybe a nice depth guy. You got Dawson Knox, obviously, still. As a group, a lot of hope there. Let's hope this happens. Hope that happens. Hope Ken Dorsey can come up with a better plan. Hope the offensive line is better. Hope the running game helps Allen. Hope Josh turns it over less. Yeah, you know how you can help all those things happen? Go get a guy like Hopkins to play on the other side. Can they make it work? Yeah. A general manager who wants a player is going to get a player. When they say it's about the cap, they didn't want the player or didn't want to go after him or had other priorities of how to manipulate the cap to use it. Deion Dawkins is out there saying, hey, D-Hop, man, I got a spot next to me in the locker room. You know what that means? Redo Deion's deal like they've done with the other ones. Restructure some contracts. Push it down the road. Again, the road in the NFL is loaded with gold. So push it down, bring the guy in. Does he want to play there? Well, he made his list. And you know what I learned? When DeAndre Hopkins made this list, he wants to play with a good quarterback because he mentioned Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, right? He mentioned Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, those are the guys he wants to catch the ball from. I'm sure he'd make it work with Joe Burrow. I'm sure he'd do it with Aaron Rodgers, right? And who knows what he'll end up doing. Our buddy Mike Giardi has said, he's got sources saying, money may be the priority here. And that might be the case. More money from a team is he wants to go back to Houston. Team's going to stink. You get paid a lot more. Maybe that's what he wants. And if that's the case, so be it. Well, what if he wants to go to the Chiefs? What if he wants to go to the Jets? You want to deal with that guy? Think about him on the Jets, right? We can say Rodgers, got Garrett Wilson, got a bunch of other guys. Now we'd have that if they can make it work. Think about the Chiefs alone. You got Kelsey to worry about. They don't have stars at the other positions. They got speed. They have talent. When you put Hopkins on that team, if he said, I want to go play with Mahomes, and they make it work, do you want to deal with that all the time? So I see like the Ravens, teams like that. I think they've already done that with Odell. I'm looking at the teams, that they have ranked, at least as far as the betting is concerned. I guess, at least what I had seen, the top two teams are the Bills and the Chiefs. They seem to be up there all the time with these guys. So some of it is, you don't want him. Now, you're not signing him just to keep him away from the Chiefs or the Jets. But if you sign him, it keeps him away from the Chiefs and the Jets. So that's kind of the way I look at it with Hopkins. I said the numbers are absurd. And look, he said he wants to play with good quarterbacks. And I get it, right? I get that he does. Because he did play with Deshaun when Watson was really good. He was young and energetic and before all this mess that happened with him in Houston. And obviously Kyler Murray at the beginning was pretty good. I don't know what's happened to Murray. Maybe he comes back. He's got that knee, whatever it is. That's a separate thing. But when a guy says your quarterback, a Bills quarterback, is one of the 5 guys I want to play with, that's pretty good because this guy's played with some bad quarterbacks, man. This is some former Bills guys. This is some just journeyman, to say the least, guys. So I saw something where they were asking D-Hop, name the guys who've thrown you a touchdown pass. He couldn't name them all. He needed hints to get there because there's been a lot. Matt Schaub threw a lot of pick sixes, I remember. Had some decent years. Okay, Matt Schaub. Bills fans know Case Keenum. This was back in the day. Ryan Fitzpatrick, one of the 32 teams that Fitz has played for, was Houston. Another Ryan Mallett. You'll see some Patriots connections because Bill O'Brien was there. Ryan Mallett. Brian Hoyer, same thing. This was when Hoyer was only in his 40s. T.J. Yates. Was T.J. Yates on the Bills? I think he was. Somebody mentioned this. I could look it up. I feel like he was. I think he was. Anyhow, he probably could have been. Maybe I just didn't even notice him. Brandon Whedon came into the NFL at 35 years old. Brock Osweiler, who was once traded basically for salary cap space, like they gave up like a they got like a number 2 pick in Osweiler. I think it was the Browns doing that. It's like 11 feet tall. Tom Savage, who I believe started a playoff game. And that was one when he's naming the guys. He's like, then there was that guy. Oh, yeah, Savage. Like, try to remember him. Deshaun, another Bills connection. A.J. McCarron. Why not? Colt McCoy, who was an answer to like every quarterback trivia question. I don't know why, but he's just been around. And then Trace McSorley, former Penn State guy. I think he started one game with the Cardinals. Then they shot Hopkins down. Anyhow, that was at the end of the year. All right, let's be honest. This guy's played with bad quarterbacks most of his career. Not the whole thing. Again, he had Watson, he had some of Kyler Murray, but the rest of it, not very good. So can the Bills make it work? Yeah. How's it going to be for Diggs? Come on. I think it'd be great for Diggs. Look on the other side. And we're not talking about him taking snaps away here from Stephon Diggs, or targets, I should say. They're coming from Gabe Davis, right? Gabe had his chance last year to prove he was the 2 guy, and he wasn't. So put him back in that 3 role, and he's in the last year of his contract. It's where the snaps are coming from. Can they make it work? Of course they can. Look at Hill and Waddle. Look at A.J. Brown and Smith. Look at, what they've got with T. Higgins in Cincinnati as the, quote, number 2 guy. I mean, yeah, you can make it work, right? Especially with Josh Allen. So can the Bills do it? Yes. Do they want to do it? I would think they want to look at it and see what it's going to cost them and see if he wants to come there. Look, if he just wants to go, finish his career, go back to Houston, get more money. I also question that. I go, if you're Houston or one of those teams, because it's been rumored, why do you want to pay a guy in his 30s at wide receiver when you're going to be pretty much a bad team? Look, I could see a team like Chicago making a move only because they want to see what they have in their quarterback. So give them a great receiver. I get that. I get sometimes you'd say, why are they doing it? Well, we've seen it with the Bills. You want to elevate the quarterback. You want to see what you have. So I do think that can happen. But if you're the Bills and you can get him, great. If you're the Bills and you don't want to get him, you don't want him going to Kansas City. You don't want him going to the Jets. I mean, that's the clear thing. So if Brandon Beane wants to make it work, he will make it work. It doesn't guarantee the guy wants to come, but you got to take your shot. And I think it's worth taking a shot. So we'll see how this all plays out. I think it's going to be kind of fascinating. You're talking about a guy who's, again, wrong side of 30, but not old, has put up great numbers, has been healthy most of his career, and I think is be excited to be playing with a great quarterback. And it appears that that's what he wants. So let's see if Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills are part of that mix. So it's going to be fun. Going to be fun to watch. We'll be at Bills OTAs. Ken Dorsey will be talking. Hey, if you're Ken Dorsey, man, you got to come up with plans and schemes and all. It's a heck of a lot easier if you got those 2 guys. That's the way I look at it. Look at the way the Bills look at Hill and Waddle. That's a lot every week. You don't want to see that with the Jets. You don't want to see that with the Chiefs, whoever else is on the other side of Hopkins with Kelsey. You'd love to see it in Buffalo. So I'm all in. Let's see if the Bills are. I think it's going to be fun to watch. So that's going to do it for me. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be talking plenty of Bills during the whole, even during this time, which is supposed to be a quiet time. It's gotten energized a little bit. For our team, that's Jenna Cottrell and Dan Fates. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next time here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel.